Hello and welcome to the AdTech Heroes podcast. In today's episode, we're going to talk about the story of Dailymotion. I'm delighted to be joined by Bichoï Bastha. Bichoï has spent the last 13 years working at Dailymotion in various roles, including Ad Operations Manager, Global Programmatic Director, Chief AdTech Officer, and is currently the Chief Revenue and Business Officer. Hi, Bichoï, how's it going?
Hi, Dal. Good, and you?
Very well, thank you. Very well. Just to kickstart, really, it'd be great to understand a little bit about your career. I think it's quite rare that one person lasts at one company for this long.
Yeah,
So I'm really interested about that, really, and what's got you to where you are now.
yeah, sure. And thank you for like having that conversation. Very excited to be part of this podcast. So yeah, it's I would say in digital in the recent companies, I would say it's rare to have I would say a journey of 13 years in the same company. But for my journey, I started, yes, as you mentioned, as an ad ops. I joined Dailymotion in 2009, and at that time, Dailymotion was only a website. It was dailymotion.com, and the people would come to the site and would upload videos as they would do on another site called YouTube. But at the time, we were only two that users could use to upload their videos, and this is when I joined. We were actually like only in France, or available only in France, because Dailymotion was born in France. And I joined as an ad operations manager, where display was the only way you could monetize traffic, where video in stream was not a thing. It was not even called video in stream when Flash Flash was used to deliver video and to play video. So really, like I would say, like it seems like a lot of years ago and an old time now. And so I started as an ad operations manager, really trafficking and implementing the campaigns of the direct team that they were selling to brands and agencies. And this is actually how I really jumped into the advertising industry. I come more from a technical background, from an engineering background, and I jumped into the advertising industry through the ad ops role. And I actually leveraged my engineering skills more when programmatic started to enter the ecosystem. So started as an ad operations manager and moved into more programmatic to a more programmatic role. But again, programmatic was not a thing when I joined Dailymotion, and programmatic started with the first campaigns coming from Criteo. Criteo, I would say, was our first programmatic partner, if we can call them a programmatic partner. But they were the only buyer that we would work with that would not guarantee a specific buying, and their implementation was not as the other campaigns implementation. It was more technical. They developed something that I think we would consider today as pre-bid, as header bidding, where like they would like to have a first look on the inventory. Ad servers were not used to build to allow first look on the inventory. So how technically can we tweak a little bit the systems to make that work? And so this is how like I leveraged my engineering skills to jump into programmatic, and I started managing Criteo as a first partner, and then other partners like Criteo came up, and then other partners that handled Criteo and others came up. We will call them now the SSPs, Improved Digital, Rubicon. Like you can name the first SSPs that entered into the market. AdMeld, of course. And I started to handle all those partners technically, making sure we can work with them, making sure we can integrate with them, making sure we can optimize them to get most of the revenue we could. User experience was an important thing at that time, and also trying to handle user experience with the amount of ads that we would put. Of course, viewability was another thing at the time. Brand safety was not a thing at the time. It was just like plug and try to optimize and try to make it a good user experience as well. And so this is how I jumped into the programmatic. I grew the programmatic team. Trading desks started to appear in the market. Like agencies had to have started to have trading desks. I hired a team that was managing those trading desks, because at the time it was very separated in terms of business than the regular agency business. And step by step, we grew that line of revenue for Dailymotion. Until I think in 2015, we really had a very huge audience base, and we had a lot of direct partnerships with a lot of programmatic partners. And we decided that we are big enough to start build our own proprietary AdTech platform. And this is where I've been promoted to Chief AdTech Officer, which I think is not a common title in the industry. But to make it simple, I was responsible of the AdTech for Dailymotion. We built our own AdTech infrastructure and platform, where today 100% of our business goes through. And after this platform has been built, I have been given the mission to actually make it generate revenue, because I would say the difference between 2023 and 2013 and when I started is that there's no more plug and play and the revenue will just come. Now you need a real strategy about how you will grow your revenues and how you will handle your partners and how you will manage your partnerships and your sales and go to market. And so that's what I'm responsible for today. Sorry, it was
Amazing.
a long answer for a short question, but
No. Well, it's like we said, you've been there a long time, so I expect a long answer. If you gave me a short answer, then for sure I would have been thinking, what's this guy been doing for 13 years in one company? But no, that sounds great. So it's safe to say, when it comes to whether it's ultimately in simplicity serving ads, you've been there from the start, right?
Yeah.
From a operational role all the way to AdTech and looking at more the business side now and the ops side. Which part do you prefer? And do you still find yourself in the weeds sometimes? Because you can go in the UI and check things maybe that your team probably wouldn't think that you would be able to check. Are you still guilty of that, would you say?
I have my daily routine where I would log into multiple platforms and look at what's happening. And that's like my daily routine since I've started taking care of programmatic. Of course, the platforms have evolved, and I would say that I've learned, and my team also taught me to not maybe edit, do not touch. You can look, but do not touch.
So you've got like a read-only access,
yes, exactly,
yeah, maybe
exactly,
not one that where you can break things.
Exactly, because the industry and the ecosystem has become also way more complex in terms of implementation, in terms of yield strategies, in terms of rules, monetization rules. The impact on user experience as well, is also more important now. It's maybe before you wouldn't really care. Now the user experience and the latency and everything in regards to that is very important. And so I have a read-only access. I don't touch anymore. I go into the weeds, and I like to go into the weeds. I think that's my strength, is I can see and understand what has been sold, how we actually expose the product to the market, and how we package it, and how does that translate into the actual machines and the actual bidding and the actual ad serving and everything. And I would say yes, it's I enjoy both. I actually enjoy a lot evangelizing and explaining and selling that to our clients, but I also enjoy preparing that and building the solutions and those packages and those products internally with our teams. And I think that's the dream job, to be able to do both and be able to have the eyes on what is like the outside and what clients would buy and what clients will be interested for, but also how do we package and how do we build things internally that will at the end of the day be sold externally.
Definitely. And I think you're probably in the 1% of chief revenue officers or chief revenue and business officers which can go in and have a really deep dive and go into the weeds and understand what the tech does. Obviously, unless you're a CTO, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's definitely interesting. You're part of that 1%. For our audience, which there will be some that probably don't know what Dailymotion is, have just been used to going on YouTube, and we can say the dirty word for sure a few times over this chat. Explain what Dailymotion is to some of the audience that have grown up with just one platform.
Okay, so Dailymotion is, or I would say, I would tell you what it is today and what it used to be, and so you can have the whole kind of transformation cycle of the company. But Dailymotion started as a video hosting platform where you would go as a user and be able to upload videos on the platform, on the site. Actually, I would say site instead of platform. And the strength of Dailymotion throughout the years was the video player. When users would come and would upload the video, the way they would do it with Dailymotion is because it was very quick to be encoded. It was available very quickly. A user can connect with a 3G phone or like a very bad Wi-Fi or very good Wi-Fi and be able to read that, to play that video in a very efficient way. And that's why they would use Dailymotion. That's what made our strength throughout the years. We've been able to build an infrastructure to be able to stream, like encode and stream videos. And so, yeah, we started as a destination website where people would come and enjoy content uploaded by other users. And step by step, we actually said, you know what? The technology that users are using could be leveraged and given to media publishers and premium publishers that actually upload more professional content and that are in need of a video solution for their sites. And so this is how we kind of leveraged our backbone of the company, which is the video player, and say, you know what, let's give it to the publishers and let's let the publishers use the video player on their sites. We also, by the way, have so many publishers that they could use their own library of content, but also others. Like if you're a news outlet and you want a sports video that you don't have, you can use it from another publisher on your site. And so we become that I would say network of video, but focused on premium publishers. And at the time, a lot of like we had to also work a lot on the UGC aspect of things, and we worked to clean it and to adapt to all the brand safety requirements that we had. And so we focus with the growth of the publisher, if I call it the publisher network, we focus really on distributing that video player to premium publishers. And this is how today we have more than 4.5 billion views a month and more than 384 million users that are exposed to a Dailymotion video player. And the difference between us and other video players is that we offer the player for free to the publishers. And how do we make our money? Is by monetizing what the publisher will not be able to monetize. And so we have our own AdTech stack. This is where the AdTech stack comes in, and I will talk a little bit more about that. And we have our own sales team that is on the market and selling that inventory that we aggregate from different premium publishers. And so we are a destination. We started as a destination website. We leverage that video player technology that we give to publishers and to premium publishers. And we also are a video marketing platform which connects with the video player, because this is the video marketing platform that really helps us monetize and we are actually an important partner to publishers because we are their video solution. And you can see that as a migration to a new video player. You can see that as a migration to a new ad server. So it's not it's heavy lifting for publishers to do that. And they count on us as well on the revenue side. They like us because they know that with Dailymotion, they will be able to generate revenue that their own team or their own tech stack will not be able to generate. And so that's also why they like to work with us. And so in order for us to be able to correctly monetize that, we've developed our own video marketing platform that is made of 4 pillars. Number one is, as I mentioned, our global reach, the 4.5 billion views a month and the 384 million uniques. It's based on our first party data. So because our player is exposed to a lot of users and in a lot of pages, we're able to aggregate a lot of data about what users are watching. We also can aggregate a lot of contextual data, and that's, I think, a very good common point with what CTech is doing. And we also have our own studio where we can play with the assets of a brand. We can customize it. We connect it as well with our own data insights, and that's our number 4 pillar, which is our data insights for a given brand. We can really help them analyze and give them a lot of insights about their clients and their prospects and what they would expect towards that brand.
And how has that developed over the years? Has it been a lot of trialing and testing and learning and failing? It'd be good to understand, was that how you're set up now? Was it always the case? How does that differ from when you first started in the AdTech space specifically?
So it's a great question. I would say that we had a big shift about, I can say, in housing, in our ad technology. Our player has always been in-house because that's the core element of Dailymotion. This is why publishers would work with us. And what we realized is on the AdTech side that we couldn't just have our own player and then just leverage a third party and say that this is like how we monetize. And the reason why is because the third parties that we used got acquired and got killed, and all our business, like 100% of our business, we had to kind of shift it to another platform with 3 months. And we can say we were using LiveRail, had been acquired by Facebook, and Facebook decided to shift the strategy and not support anymore third-party publishers using the ad server. So we had to remove all our business to another platform, and then it happened again with another platform. And so the decision we took, even when we were on LiveRail since the beginning, was LiveRail would be our main technological partner, but LiveRail will not be the platform with whom we will rely to close the partnerships and to actually build a partnership with the DSPs. And so since the beginning, we started to negotiate and have direct contracts and direct relationships with the DSPs, the Tube Mogul of the time, the Adapt TV of the time. I feel old by saying those names, but yeah, all those ad tech companies that were existing and were playing a very important part in terms of revenue. We directly started engaging with them and have contractual terms with them. The technology behind it was not Dailymotion, it was LiveRail, until at some point we decided, and Vivendi, with the acquisition of Dailymotion in 2015, really helped us accelerate the transition, where we said, like, we can't grow and scale by relying 100% of our business on a third-party technology that we do not have control over. And Google was a good solution, but we also thought that Google was not only a good solution, and having everything on Google will not help us be owner of our business. And so we decided to invest and build our own SSP. So it started with the SSP, where we built our own supply side platform. We leveraged all the contracts that we have with the DSPs. We moved all those DSPs to our own SSP. Some DSPs took us more time than others, but at the end of the day, today we can say that 100% of our business is going through our own SSP. And we have all the DSPs connected directly to that SSP. You can go on the biggest one, DV360, the Trade Desk, MediaMath, all those big DSPs. You will see Dailymotion being identified as a supply partner, and that was made in order to have our clients being able to quickly identify Dailymotion and be able to buy Dailymotion. And that was really the purpose. I feel it's like a little bit of what SPO is doing today with the header bidding and the multiplication of the routes. We kind of anticipated that with having this direct connection with the DSPs. So when our team is in market and talking to the market and brands and agencies, they can say, see, the route is very simple. You have Dailymotion player, you have the DSP, your DSP on the buy side connected to this Dailymotion player through the Dailymotion SSP. That's the way you can buy it. That's the only way you can have the best access and the most direct access to the inventory. And it also helped us expose more signals. I think that's one thing that was also important when I say having control of our business is, how do we want to expose the content? How do we want to expose the fact that this is a long form, this is short form, this is a music content, this is a trailer. Like, how do we want to expose that to the market? And having our own technology to do that really helped us explain also better to the market what do we have to actually sell.
I think you made a really interesting point, and even throughout my career, you see kind of scenarios where companies, media owners, have tried to venture into building their own SSP and then stopped. Two of my ex-companies ventured into it and then pulled out for whatever reason, right? I don't know the exacts, but it could have been time, money, tech, experience, etc. And CTAG is similar to Dailymotion in that sense, where we have built our own SSP, and you've got DSPs plugged in, but we still do see the value of plugging into SSPs, and they bring us in a lot of demand as well. So they are very key partners. Do you feel that motion is starting to change a bit in the industry? And you mentioned SPO and brands wanting to connect and be closer to the user and with less middlemen, and however you want to look at it. Do you see media owners trying this a lot more now again, where they'll try to build out their own tech and invest and spend more money? Or do you still feel in the industry there is a place for the SSPs, which of course we can see in the last few years they are consolidating massively? So yeah, I'd like to get your what your view is on that.
To get back to your first point, building an SSP was costly, and we wouldn't do it again, I would say, if we wouldn't have had, since the beginning, signed direct contracts with the DSPs. What really helped us kick off the process and be like, hey, you know what, at the end of the day, we have to replace that big tech stack and build our own, but the contracts and the contracts with the buying platforms are here. It's like a migration for them to move from a platform to another. And maybe this is why like a lot of companies would start and then like stop the process. Yes, it's costly and you need like strong engineering resources that know AdTech, and those profiles are rare, but you also need to convince the buy side to connect, because they would be like, hey, why should I involve and engage engineering resources if I can just buy you through like any other SSP on the market? So I would say like, yes, I think that really what helped us do that. In regards to the market, I believe that publishers need money, and publishers would do a lot of things to maximize the revenue per session, per page, and that's more and more critical. And we see it, and we operate also like a website, which is Dailymotion.com, and the publishers, I would say, have been given the tools with header bidding to just maximize by connecting the most SSPs possible. And although we see consolidation on the SSP side, we also see a lot of SSPs growing because they have now access, like other big SSPs, to the inventory through header bidding. And actually, I believe that SSPs, if they specialize or focus on a specific type of demand or a specific type of product that they would sell to their clients or to their agencies and brands, can bring different demand than other SSPs. And so I actually believe that publishers like that, and publishers enjoy that. Of course, there's a challenge that I will think will come with the cookies question, with the user experience question, with the impact in terms of carbon emissions that you're doing. Because I think the more you will just call SSPs here and there and DSPs maybe tomorrow directly in your header, like all of that is generating a lot of emissions, and maybe that's going against the actual industry and movements. But yeah, I still believe that the publishers are in need of monetization and revenues, and today the tool that is header bidding that is being given to them to connect and multiply the SSPs and the routes is just going to help multiply the SSPs, and I would say the SSPs will still be alive if they can offer some differentiated demand to the publishers.
For sure, and like you said, it could take a lot of time and resource in building the SSPs, but it also comes down to commercials and margin, right? If you're saving an SSP cost of 5, 10, 15, 20%, whatever it might be, I don't want to obviously reveal any SSP fees or costs or anything. Could be a lot more, could be a lot less. Who knows? It's that saving and it's that margin, and we know publishers are being squeezed a lot more. So it'll be interesting. This year will be interesting to see if a lot of them are pumping and taking that slight risk in building their own infrastructure internally, which you do see a lot more of. In terms of the brands, are you seeing that question mark now in terms of SPO and your sales teams when they're out in market? Are they becoming a bit more AdTech savvy and asking those SPO questions, or is it really up to us in AdTech to educate the brands in trying to get closer to the user?
No, I would say yes, they are definitely becoming more AdTech savvy, and they have to because the brands are aware of that. The brands are more and more aware of the complexity. They've been aware of the complexity of AdTech, and I think with header bidding, they kind of got lost a little bit into, okay, like this is a big mess of pipelines, and I really don't understand. But I think they're getting more and more aware of what it means for them. What it means for them is maybe inefficiency in terms of buying and in terms of getting the best price. And so they want to understand, okay, like what would be the best for them to be done and implemented to get the best ROI in their media buying. And so they're becoming aware of that word SPO, And we have a lot of brands, like direct clients that want to understand, okay, like how do you work with DSPs? How do you work with SSPs? Do you do header bidding? If you do header bidding, what should be the best route to buy you? Can we make sure that this will be the only route we will buy you? And can we make sure that no other routes will be used to buy you? So we have the questions that are truly coming from, are being shared from our sales team in the market, although they're selling like media plans and they're selling directly to agencies and to clients, but the clients want to know that, and they want to know how their media dollars, their ad dollars, would be used the most efficient way, and would not be used in, I don't want to say that, but like in the AdTech tax of things, but really in using the best route, the most efficient route to get access to the publisher and to the actual content itself.
For sure. We briefly mentioned YouTube earlier. How does one compete with YouTube? I think this is probably a question on all across all media owners, all supply owners. There's every programmatic event that's out there is talks about Meta and Google versus the world and the open web. Even the likes of CTEG, we're obviously always competing with them when it comes to video and even their super low prices that agencies quote us and whatnot. We've all had the kind of had the same conversations with media buyers. So how does Dailymotion compete with YouTube? Is it, related to price? Is it related to different things? It'd be great to understand that.
So there is multiple points. The first one I would say is brand safety. We've taken the decision to not advertise on UGC, and that's a strong position that we have. What helped us, I would say, here is YouTube, because users don't go anymore on Dailymotion to upload their video content. They would go on YouTube, Instagram, Snap. Like, we're not anymore that destination to upload user-generated content. And we decided, although we still have that content on the platform, we decided to not advertise on it. And actually, like, brands like that, and I would take maybe the different prism. Like, I would take the market.
And that's
prism,
pretty bold, right?
Yeah,
that's pretty bold, because what percentage would you say is user-generated versus non? Like between the split in terms of videos that you guys have?
So today, less than 10% is user-generated, because we have done shift. We have done that shift, and there's no incentive for a user to come on Dailymotion.
Yeah, so people know not to come on anyway, right?
Yes, okay. And so that we took that transformation took several years to get there. But today, which is why we also have trust from the agencies and from the clients, is they've tested that. Like, we can say it, but then they've tested it. They all work with IAS, and we all work with IAS and double verify and everyone else, and they've all seen through there's like vendors that there's no ads on UGC, and that we can guarantee brand safety, which I would say for video at scale today is a challenge, and that's definitely one way we kind of differentiate with YouTube. One other prism that I think is important is the way we partner with the publishers. We are not here to cannibalize the audience of the publishers. If they use the Dailymotion player, we want the publishers to grow their video audience on their sites. And I think that's maybe where there's a big difference between YouTube and Dailymotion, is we are here to support the video strategy, and we are a video solution to our publishers. And we're not here to try to get that audience into YouTube so we can re-engage them and make more money from the traffic that we got from the publisher. And a simple example is that we have a lot of publishers that would tell us, we like to use the Dailymotion player because I can engage my audience through the player. You will suggest them with we have like an algorithm that can recommend content coming from the same publisher. And so a publisher would come on the publisher site, watch 1, 2, 3, 4 videos and stay on the sites. Where if they use a YouTube player, they would have a small banner that says watch on YouTube, and they would be like, I'm losing traffic here. Like, I'm using a YouTube player and I'm losing traffic. Where if I use a Dailymotion player, I actually build my own audience and engage with my audience. And I would say that's a key differentiator on that side as well. And then, of course, the service as well, I think, is important. Like, what we've invested heavily on being able to be with our clients and trying to explain them what we can offer, how we can customize their campaigns, how we can really give them a lot of insights about how they would use their ad dollars on Dailymotion, and how that would be efficient, that would be performant. And so that service side, where it's not just like, hey, here's the platform, just go and buy, I think is also a big differentiator for us.
Okay, great. In terms of this year for 2023, what do you think are the kind of the big opportunities, and also then the challenges as well for a business like Dailymotion?
So the big opportunities, I think, is that what we have been building is working, and I don't know, maybe it's a little bit of auto promotion here, but what we have been building is working, and we have to scale that in more markets. We've always had the approach of going slowly but surely, and this is the way we operate. We do not like just overhire sellers and everywhere and do that and just like try to scale very quickly. No, we take our time to do things correctly. We take our time to open new markets in a good way, where we would like ramp up. We have actually invested, I would say, in the financial model of opening a new country to make sure that this new investment will be profitable for Dailymotion. So I would say more of the same of the last 2 years. This is where really we shifted our advertising side on focusing on being a video marketing platform. So more of that and opening new markets for us in 2023. I would say the challenges that I see for the industry and for Dailymotion as well are two. The first one is differentiate in terms of attention, the attention metric. We talk a lot about it, but I think it's critical. And I think that we have concrete advantages on that side. The first one is that we are a video player. We play content. We don't play ads. We play content. And before that content, we play ads, which I think is a big difference when today you can talk about video. You have like video advertising, but we actually are a video player that has access to the content, that plays content. And before that content plays, we actually have ads, which in the video today ecosystem, you can have just like video ads and that's it. And maybe they've been like given the same value, but in fact, they're really different. And so I think that's a big advantage for us. We've been focused on in-stream. We believe in the efficiency of in-stream and how it works for the users, but also for the clients. And so we will leverage that. The second one, I think, is this sustainability. Sustainability is going to be big, and back to what we were discussing regarding the multiplication of routes and calls and bids and bid requests and auctions. I think that more and more brands are being aware of that, like carbon cost, and we've been working on that for several years, and we really haven't advertised about it, but being able to optimize the way we deliver video content to our users really helped us also optimize our carbon emissions. And so we're actually like in a good position today in regards to how we can tackle the sustainable part of our business. And so we will do the same, because a lot of the brands are aware and more aware of that problem. And we think we have a lot of good points to share with them about how we're being careful on that side, and how we think we're like the good people or the good partners for being careful in the way you measure and you compensate your carbon emissions. And I think that's going to be key, not because it's just a marketing thing. I believe it has impact on the financials and the ROI of the campaigns of the brand. And with this 2023 year that is kind of weird on that ad investment side, I believe that the sustainability will be here with like ad efficiency or ad ROI or ad investment ROI.
For sure. And you mentioned two areas there that have been constantly repeated in the press and related to our industry, attention as well as sustainability. How important is it to partner up with the right people? And have you partnered up with third parties when it comes to attention and for sustainability?
Yes. So yes to both questions, and we also have done things in-house. So first is the player. I think the player is the first way to know if we will grab the user attention. The fact that the user would have to click on play on the video, we believe is a good sign that we have kind of the user attention that way. So the player elements that we have in-house gives us an access to a lot of data about do we have the user's attention. So we focus a lot on our assets to do that, and we've partnered with Lumens to also be able to to define what is the user attention by adding also our data captured by our player, and also a work stream that we're having with Lumens. And on the sustainability part, we're working with Scope 3. We believe Scope 3 has a very advanced management of that topic, like a very sophisticated approach of that topic, that it is very transparent methodology to measure sustainability. It really helps us engage with what has been done at Dailymotion outside of AdTech. And I think this is where it's important. I don't think that sustainability is just about did that ad impression generate less emissions than an ad impression that would have come from another SSP or another vendor. I believe it's more about the media partner that you are working with. Is that media partner operating in an efficient and sustainable way? And I think it goes beyond just like the ad tech world. And we're working with Scope 3 on that point.
Yeah, I think it takes some bold decisions, right, or from all of us, I think, to put your hand up and say, look, I'm not going to take any revenue, any budgets from like the oil brands or the energy brands. And it's big, right? Like I said, we're all working on tight margins. We all have our commercial hat on. So yeah, hopefully we do see a lot of those bold decisions this year. So yeah, let's see how that goes.
100% agree. But it is a challenge. It is a challenge because it is new for our
It's
ecosystem.
a balance, right? It's a balance.
Yeah. And there's a lot of pressure already in the market. And so you're adding another thing. And so, yeah, it's hard. It's hard. And it's like, again, publishers are also thinking about the cookies. Publishers are also thinking about investment being reduced. And so they're operating in a very constrained mode. And then you also add the sustainability piece. But I believe that the sustainability piece can only be positive for publishers that are doing things, I would say, I don't want to say in the right way, but with, like, as you said, like bold values on the way they operate their business.
Definitely. So we always end our podcast episodes with this question. If you had a superpower in AdTech, what would it be?
Oh, that's a great question. Oh, if I had a superpower in AdTech, what would it be? Making Google bid in the OpenRTB ecosystem. I think that we're ending up with header bidding and with all of that because Google did not kind of play fair. I don't know if like this can be kept or not. Oh, well,
it's fine. We'll keep it in. We'll keep it in.
No, but that's the truth. Like, I think we've ended up in that situation and that complexity because if Google and AdX, I would say, let's say AdX instead of Google. If AdX would have been able to bid since the beginning, I wouldn't think that like we would be in this situation today with all of this complexity. With even the sustainability part will be simple. You have everyone competing. You don't need to compete before another competition. And I think that I don't want to blame Google and AdX for everything, but I think that if I had a superpower, I would convert Google Ad Managers as an OpenRTB bidder and being connected and available in the marketplace. It's not maybe a
brilliant.
It's not a. It's
a brilliant answer. It's one of my favorite, to be honest, and it's a bit rogue, which I like.
That's maybe not the most seducing or appealing dream, but I think it would have really shaped the ecosystem very differently.
For sure. Even playing ground, right?
Yeah, even playing ground. Exactly.
Brilliant. Okay, I think that's all we've got time in today's episode. Thanks, Bichoï, for your time. It's been great speaking to you.
Thank you, Dal, and thank you for your time as well. It was great to be with you and talk with you.